Most of us know a fixer. They are the person who stays calm while everyone else panics, effortlessly managing crises and anticipating problems before they even occur. But for the fixer, a strange thing happens when the crisis finally ends. Instead of relief, a quiet room brings a sudden, sharp sense of guilt and agitation. In these moments of silence, the body remains on high alert, reacting to peace as if it were a precursor to a new disaster. Psychologists call this parentification. It is a specific type of childhood trauma where a child is forced to manage adult emotions, either their own or their parents', long before they are developmentally ready. Society just sees an exceptionally mature adult. In reality, we are looking at a nervous system that became trapped in survival mode decades ago and never found its way out. Parentification thrives in environments where support is inconsistent or entirely absent. In these homes, the child realizes that as the household is going to stay stable, they are the one who has to be responsible. This creates a massive neurological problem. A developing brain cannot survive in constant unpredictability without changing its own architecture. This diagram shows the brain's primary adaptation. It reallocates its resources. It suppresses the child's internal needs, like play and emotional expression, and moves that energy to the outer boundary to focus entirely on stabilizing the environment. This is where early maturity comes from. These children weren't born with extra resilience. They weaponized maturity because it was the only survival tool they had. Early self-reliance is an emergency biological response to an environment that failed to provide safety. This chart illustrates split maturity. Under pressure, logical centers accelerate, while emotional parts plateau early. This creates survival independence. The highly capable adult finds themselves behind a thick defensive barrier, unable to trust others. This also leads to guarded empathy. The child learns to read a room and sense shifts in mood instantly. It's a hyper-awareness of others that serves as a defensive radar rather than a tool for connection. Maintaining this level of constant vigilance is exhausting. Every social interaction becomes a scan for potential emotional costs. This leads to uneasy rest. When the nervous system is locked in a chronic stress loop, the concept of doing nothing feels physically dangerous. The brain is simply applying childhood pattern recognition. In an unstable home, a period of calm meant disaster was imminent. As an adult, the brain still treats silence as the quiet before the storm. Finally, there is the guilt of needing help. The brain begins to associate receiving care with being a burden, causing the adult to apologize for having basic needs. These adult struggles are the logical evidence of a brain that learned very early that connection is a risk and resting is a vulnerability. Recognizing these patterns changes the narrative. The persistent exhaustion you feel is not a failure of character or a lack of discipline. Hypervigilance and the inability to rest are proof of an adaptation that worked exactly as intended. These traits kept you safe when no one else was there to do it. Healing requires addressing a specific developmental debt, the fact that you were forced to learn responsibility before you ever learned what it felt like to be safe. Biological healing looks like the reversal of our earlier diagram. It involves retraining the nervous system to recognize that the childhood threat is over, allowing that energy to flow back into the center, toward your own needs. You are no longer the child responsible for the weight of everyone else's world. You are finally allowed to put it down and rest.